The movie opens with the final moments of a high-stakes international football match between South Korea and a fierce rival. The score is tied, and with only one chance left to change the game, the entire stadium holds its breath. Their defenders recover the ball and launch a perfect long pass toward their two-star forwards, Hong Dae and Sung Chan. Since Sung Chan is already in the best position, everyone expects him to finish the attack. But just as he's about to reach the ball, Hong Dae suddenly sprints in from behind and tries to steal the opportunity for himself. Instead of creating a winning goal, the two get in each other's way, the attack falls apart, and moments later the final whistle blows. South Korea walks away defeated because of one selfish decision. Not long afterward, Hong Dae and Sung Chan face the media to explain the heartbreaking loss. While many believe Hong Dae let his ego get the better of him, the truth is more complicated. Nearing the end of his career, he desperately needed the life-changing bonus that a standout performance could have earned him. During the interview, a reporter crosses the line by bringing up Hong Dae's mother, who is wanted for running a massive fraud scheme. After years of dealing with the fallout from her actions and carrying the weight of the country's defeat, Hong Dae finally snaps. He storms toward the reporter and injures his eye in front of everyone. The footage spreads online within hours. Hong Dae is immediately suspended from the national team and quickly becomes one of the most hated football players in the country. Almost overnight, everything he worked for disappears. His club terminates his contract, his reputation is destroyed, and whatever money he still had is gone because his mother has already taken it. With Hong Dae's career hanging by a thread, his manager starts looking for anything that might save his image. Before long, he comes up with an opportunity. For the next few months, Hong Dae will coach South Korea's homeless football team as they prepare for the upcoming Homeless World Cup in Hungary. This is where Hong Dae meets So Min, the producer in charge of the documentary. After introducing herself, she explains that a film crew will follow him throughout the entire journey in hopes of showing viewers a different side of the disgraced football star. If the project succeeds, it could help repair his public image and even open the door for a return to professional football. She then shows him footage from the team's tryouts, and the videos leave Hong Dae completely speechless. Struggle to complete simple passes, and some of them look like they've never played football before. It quickly becomes obvious that they weren't chosen because of their talent. They're simply a group of homeless people brought together to represent South Korea on the international stage. Despite his doubts, Hong Dae doesn't have much of a choice as he needs the money. The following day, training officially begins, with So Min and her camera crew documenting every moment from the sidelines. It doesn't take long for Hong Dae to realize that this job is far more difficult than he expected. Teaching professional football is one thing, but teaching complete beginners is something else entirely. The players struggle with even the simplest drills, and at times, even kicking the ball in the right direction becomes a challenge. Before long, Hong Dae is already questioning whether taking this job was a mistake. Sensing his frustration, So Min reminds him why he's here in the first place and encourages him not to give up so quickly. As training continues, we slowly get to know the members of the team. The first is Hwan Dong, a former company CEO who once had a successful career and a happy family, but years of alcoholism and repeated affairs eventually destroyed everything he had. After losing both his business and the people closest to him, he found himself with nowhere left to go, eventually ending up on the streets. The second man, Byum-soo, is a quiet and gentle man who has devoted his life to caring for the woman he loves. She struggles with mental illness, but no matter how difficult things become, he refuses to leave her side. Then there's Ho Bong, a kind-hearted man who trusted people far too easily. After being deceived repeatedly, he lost his savings, his home, and eventually even his family. His wife remarried, leaving him to face life completely alone. The next player is Moon-soo, a former gangster whose violent past and bipolar disorder slowly destroyed any chance of living a normal life, eventually leaving him homeless. Finally, there's Young Jin, who was abandoned by his own family simply because he was homosexual. Not long after, the team runs into its first setback. The following day, Byum-soo suddenly announces that he wants to quit. Worried about losing another player, Hong Dae and So Min go to find him and ask what changed his mind. Byum-soo admits that he can't stop worrying about the woman he loves. When the crew finally meets her, she is immediately fascinated by Hong Dae, the famous professional footballer. Seeing her admiration for him, Byum-soo finds a new reason to keep going. Determined to make the woman he loves proud, he decides to rejoin the team. Unfortunately, their problems are far from over. During practice, Dong suffers a serious injury and fractures his leg, leaving the squad one player short once again. That's when director Huang tells Hongdae about another candidate named Insen, a shy young man who never showed up for the original tryouts. When they finally track him down, Hongdae immediately notices that Insen barely speaks. He avoids eye contact, quietly sells newspapers on the streets to get by, and politely refuses the invitation before they can even finish explaining it. Just as they're about to leave, So-min notices a stack of missing person posters sticking out of his bag. Curious, they ask director Huang about them and finally learn Insan's heartbreaking past. Years ago, his parents decided to take their own lives and tried to kill him as well. Insan was the only one who survived, but instead of receiving sympathy, he became the target of constant bullying and eventually fell into depression. During the darkest period of his life, one girl stayed by his side when everyone else turned away. The two of them relied on each other and slowly saved enough money to dream about a better future together. Wanting her to have a chance at a normal life, Insan gave her all of their savings and encouraged her to continue her studies and find an office job. Tragically, before that dream could come true, she was swept away by the ocean during a company trip. Her body was never found, and ever since then, Insan has refused to give up hope that she's still alive, carrying missing person posters with him everywhere he goes. After hearing his story, Hongdae suddenly comes up with an idea. He tells Insan that if the team competes in the Homeless World Cup, their matches will be broadcast across the country. If she's still out there somewhere, appearing on national television might be his best chance of reaching her. Hearing that, he agrees to join the team. From that day onward, the players throw themselves into training with renewed determination. Every session pushes them to their limits as they slowly improve their fitness, teamwork, and basic football skills. One day, Ho Bang receives an unexpected visitor during training. His young daughter has come to see him. Although the rest of the family has moved on, she has never stopped believing in her father. She knows her parents' marriage is over, but unlike everyone else, she understands that he isn't a bad man and enjoys being with him. She then shares some difficult news. Her mother has remarried, and the family will soon be moving to Australia. Before she leaves, she only has one wish: to spend a little more time living with her father. The request leaves Ho Bang speechless because he doesn't even have a place to call home. After quietly listening to the conversation, Hongdae unexpectedly steps in and offers the two of them a place to stay at his apartment temporarily. Meanwhile, director Huang continues working around the clock, meeting with potential sponsors in hopes of securing enough funding to send the team to the Homeless World Cup. Just when things finally seem to be moving in the right direction, everything falls apart. Because of several administrative issues combined with the public's hatred toward Hongdae, every sponsor decides to withdraw from the project. In an instant, the team loses its entire budget, leaving director Huang with no idea how he's supposed to get everyone to Hungary. Meanwhile, Hongdae arranges a practice match for the team against what should be an easy opponent, an elementary school football academy. Unfortunately, reality hits much harder than expected. From the opening whistle, the children completely outplay them. Their passing is sharper, their movement is quicker, and before long they're running circles around the adults. Watching from the sidelines, even Hongdae can hardly believe what he's seeing. Still, the players refuse to let the embarrassing start break their spirits. They keep fighting until the final whistle, and after a determined second-half comeback, they somehow manage to turn the match around and secure their first victory. Not long afterward, So-min receives an urgent call from director Huang. The situation has become far worse than anyone expected. With no sponsors left, there's a real possibility that the team will have to withdraw from the Homeless World Cup altogether. Without the funding, they can't afford the trip to Hungary, and the documentary may never be finished either. The news leaves everyone devastated, but director Huang refuses to give up. He promises the team that he'll keep searching until he finds someone willing to support them. While the team struggles with its own problems, Hongdae receives an unexpected phone call from his mother. She tells him that she has been arrested. When he visits her, she immediately asks him to pay for her bail, but this time, Hongdae refuses to give in. After years of cleaning up his mother's mistakes, Hongdae finally reaches his limit. With his football career in ruins and no money left, he refuses to pay her bail and tells her that from this day forward, they should go their separate ways. That evening, Hongdae sees a group of teenagers mocking the woman Byung-soo loves because of her mental illness. Already pushed to his limit, he steps in to defend her, but the boys recognize him and begin taunting him instead. Hongdae loses control, and a fight breaks out. The next morning, Edited clips of the altercation spread online, making it appear as though he attacked the teenagers while drunk. After they file a police report, public opinion once again turns against the disgraced football star. So Min and the rest of the team try explaining to the police that Hongdae was only protecting the woman from being harassed. The problem is that no one can actually prove it. Refusing to let another lie destroy Hongdae's life, so Min starts retracing everything that happened that night. After speaking with the woman, she finally uncovers a crucial lead. Someone nearby had recorded the entire confrontation on their phone, capturing exactly how the incident began. Realizing this could change everything, So Min edits the footage into a short documentary segment and uploads it online. To everyone's surprise, the video spreads across the internet almost immediately. When the full video is released, the public finally sees that Hongdae stepped in to protect a vulnerable woman and did not start the fight. The backlash disappears overnight. His name is cleared, and support pours in for both him and the homeless football team. Former sponsors return, new companies offer funding, and the team's financial problems are quickly resolved, as Hongdae is once again praised as a hero. After clearing his name, Hongdae receives a lucrative TV contract that would make him more money than ever before. The catch is that he must leave the homeless football team because the filming schedule conflicts with the Homeless World Cup. Torn between a life-changing opportunity and the team he has grown to care about, Hongdae struggles to decide, while his manager urges him not to let emotions stand in the way, allowing him to rebuild his life. The next day, Hongdae arrives at training as usual, but his mind is clearly elsewhere. After practice, Hongdae gathers everyone together. The players notice his unusually serious expression as So Min quietly stands beside them. After a long silence, Hongdae finally tells them that he has decided to step down as their coach. The announcement leaves the entire team speechless, but Hongdae offers no explanation. Without another word, he turns around and walks away. Unable to accept his decision, So Min confronts Hongdae and asks how he can abandon the team after everything they've been through. She soon realizes he is doing it because he needs the money and calls him pathetic for giving up on the players who trusted him. Hongdae says nothing, only telling her that it is best if they both move on before walking away. A few days later, Hongdae receives his first payment from the television contract and immediately uses the money to bail his mother out of jail. After returning home, the two of them sit down for a quiet meal before watching old highlights from Hongdae's days with the Korean national team. As the matches play across the screen, his mother smiles, remembering how passionate he was about football ever since he was a little boy. For a brief moment, it almost feels like they're finally sharing a genuine mother and son moment, but the feeling doesn't last. She casually tells him that now his reputation has recovered, he should forget about football altogether and focus on television instead. In her eyes, that's where the real money is. Those few words hit Hongdae harder than he expected. Hongdae realizes his mother never truly cared about his dream and only saw football as a way for him to make money. Although the TV contract gives him the financial security he desperately needs, it leaves him feeling emptier than ever. When the day arrives for the homeless football team to leave for Hungary, the players head to the airport believing they will have to face the biggest tournament of their lives without their coach. Just as they are walking toward the boarding gate, Hongdae unexpectedly appears beside them in a neatly pressed suit. At first, everyone thinks he has only come to say goodbye, but Hongdae reveals that he turned down the television contract and has chosen to stay with the team. The players immediately erupt in cheers. Before long, the Homeless World Cup officially begins. As expected, the Korean team struggles against far more experienced opponents. Their lack of technique and international experience is exposed in every match, and they suffer one defeat after another. Things become even more difficult when two of their players pick up injuries during the tournament. Under the competition's rules, they're allowed to temporarily use two Brazilian players as replacements. Both of them are exceptionally talented, and with their help, Korea finally manages to win its first match. Surprisingly, the victory doesn't bring much joy. Deep down, the players know they didn't earn it themselves, making the result feel hollow instead of satisfying. Before Korea's final match against Germany, Hongdae gathers the team in the locker room and reminds them that society has spent years judging them as failures because they became homeless. He tells them they can either rely on the Brazilian players for a better result or fight alongside their own teammates and show the world who they really are. Even if they lose, he wants them to leave the field knowing they gave everything they had, and his words reignite the team's spirit. From the opening whistle, every player throws themselves into the match without holding anything back. They sprint after every loose ball, dive into tackles, and fight for every inch of the field despite facing a much stronger opponent. One after another, players are knocked to the ground, yet each time they somehow manage to get back on their feet. Even Su refuses to stay on the bench despite his injured hand after seeing his teammates fight through their own pain. Worried about their condition, Hongdae tells them they don't need to keep risking their bodies, but none of them are willing to back down. Having found their own reasons to keep fighting, the players refuse to let their teammates carry the burden alone. Their determination slowly changes the atmosphere inside the stadium. Before long, fans from every country begin cheering for Korea, inspired by a team that refuses to surrender no matter how impossible the odds seem. Then, against everyone's expectations, Korea launches a perfectly timed counterattack and scores against Germany, although they eventually lose the match. The final score no longer matters. By the end of the game, they have earned something far more valuable than victory: the respect of everyone watching. When the tournament comes to an end, Korea receives two special honors: the award for the tournament's most popular team and the Best Newcomer award. Not long afterward, Somin's documentary is finally released. The film becomes a massive success, touching audiences across the country and allowing millions of people to see the players for who they truly are rather than judging them by their circumstances. For the team, the tournament marks the beginning of a new chapter. Hwandong reunites with his daughter and finally meets his grandchild. Hobong tearfully says goodbye as his daughter leaves for Australia, promising they'll see each other again. Insan returns to selling newspapers, and although the woman he searched for no longer remembers him, he's simply grateful to know she's alive and living safely. As for Hongdae, his journey with the team completely changes the way the public sees him. Not long afterward, he receives the opportunity to wear the South Korean national team jersey once again. After everything he has lost, Hongdae finally returns to the sport he has loved since childhood. This time, however, he isn't alone. Watching from the stands are the people who believed in him when no one else did: the homeless football team, along with So Min, proudly cheering him on as the movie comes to an end. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching. And if you're enjoying these movie recaps, don't forget to subscribe for more. See you in the next one.